Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Epsom Downs here on Saturday. It is June the 1st, 2019. It's Derby Day from Epsom, and I'm going to look at all the races on the program, including the Derby. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKit5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and also join me tomorrow for my Preview Jockey Club preview video. I'll be looking at the Preview Jockey Club. Also, I'll be looking at all those undercard stakes races also. And if you're interested in American racing, next week here in New York at Belmont, we have the Belmont Stakes Festival. It starts on Thursday, goes to Saturday, and that looks like some great racing there. Join me here on YouTube for my previews and selection for those days also. But we're going to look at the Derby later in this video. Looked at every single horse, and I think it's a good Derby. But first, we have to get there, so let's get to race number 1, the 2 o'clock from Epsom, which is the Investec Private Banking Handicap. It's a Class 2 handicap going for per $64,000. Race for 3-year-olds only. Horses rated 0 to 105. 9 horses are going 2,000 meters or a mile and a quarter on the turf course. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 1-horse Naif Road. I'm going to go 148 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta. 148 Tri-Cash Trifecta. Top selection, 1-horse Naif Road. This 3-0 colt by Galileo. Ryan Moore's on this one for Mark Johnston. The horse's most recent outing came 16th of May at York. A mile and a quarter in the Group 2 Dante Stakes, and he finished 6th by 7 1/4 lengths, and he just ran absolutely dismal. Never got into it. He was just outclassed by the others. I think a step back to a handicap today, he'll just run a lot better. Before that, he ran on the 5th of May at Newmarket, a mile and a quarter on Class 3 handicap, and he did everything right. He won by 5 lengths, and he just, could have won by more, but it doesn't get any easier than that. First off the break, it was a very good run. And then at Newmarket on the 24th of October, a mile and a quarter in a Class 2 handicap, finished 3rd by length. He had a little bit of a turn of foot, but he still needed to excel that little bit extra, but I still thought he ran decently. It was an improvement off the race before it came out Newbury on very wet ground, 1 mile in Class 2 conditions. He finished 7th by 25 lengths, and I just blame that race on the bad going, which he just didn't handle. Back to a handicap today. Gets Ryan Moore back on, who rode this horse brilliantly in the fall at Newmarket. I think everything points to him, so at 4 to 1, I'll take him. So to recap my selection for the first 2 o'clock from Epsom, it's the Investec Private Bank Handicap. Gonna go with the 1-horse Naif Road. I'm gonna go 148 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta. Let's get to the second race from Epsom. Race number 2, the 235 from Epsom. It's the Group 3 Princess Elizabeth Stakes. It's a Group 3 race for Class 1 horses going for a purse of $115,000. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Fillies mares only. Field of 8 horses going 1,700 meters or a mile and 1/16 on the turf course. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 1-horse Ferocious. I'm going to go 173 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta. 173 Tri-Cash Trifecta. Top selection, 1-horse Ferocious. 4-year-old filly by Frankel. Ryan Moore's on this one for Sir Michael Stout. We have the Ryan Moore early double here, but the horse's most recent outing came the 5th of May at Newmarket, 1 mile 1/8 or 1,800 meters in the Group 2 Dahlia Stakes. He finished 4th by 4 1/4 lengths there, and he just couldn't get that good turn of foot at the end. First off the break, I think the horse needed the race. I think the cut back to a 16th of mile less to the mile 16th trip. Good poster here today, lesser quality horses. I think she'll just run a lot better race, even with a heavy weight. Before that, this horse ran the 6th of October at Newmarket, 1 mile in the Group 1 Sun Chariot Stakes, and the horse finished 6th by 5 3/4 lengths. It was under the drive and just wasn't excelling. It wasn't the day to win. And then at Sandown, 1 mile in the Atlantia Stakes. The horse won by 1 1/4 lengths at 91 cents to the dollar. He quickened up nicely. A very good run there, beating some decent horses home there. And then a Goodwood, a mile and a quarter in the Group 2, Group 1 Nassau Stakes. He finished 3rd by 2 lengths. Wild Illusion ran a hell of a race that day and had a great 2018 campaign. But this horse, he just wasn't into it. Her better races have come out at the mile or mile 16 trip. She's going to get it today. She's a good poster up. And like I said, I think out of all the horses here, just looking at the numbers, she should win. So it's a 8 to 5. I'll take her. Not the best price in the world. So we'll have to hit the Tri-Cast to make some extra money with this race. So here's my Tri-Cast to recap my selection for the second, the 235 from Epsom. It's the Group 3 Princess Elizabeth Stakes. Going to go with the 1-horse Ferocious. I'll go 173 in the Tri-Cast Trifecta. It's race number Race number 3 from Epsom, the 310. It is the Group 3 Diomed Stakes. It's a Group 3 race for Class 1 horses going for a purse of $115,000. We have 7 horses going 1,700 meters or a mile and 1/16 on the turf course. My top selection, I'm going to take the chance with the 7-horse Bye Bye Hong Kong. I'm going to go 7-4-5 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta. 7-4-5 Tri-Cash Trifecta. Top selection, 7-horse Bye Bye Hong Kong. This 3-year-old Colt by Street Sense. Sylvester de Sousa gets the leg up for Andrew Balding. This horse, this horse has some great North America dirt pedigree on him. It wouldn't surprise me if you see this horse end up in one of the Breeders' Cup dirt races this fall at Santa Anita, or at a place to be determined, with all the bad negative press they've been getting lately. But back to this horse. His most recent outing came a few Mondays ago at Windsor on the 13th of May. 1 mile listed stakes, and he won by a half length. He was 73 cents to the dollar. He was facing older horses for the first time, and he just quickened up nicely on good ground. It was a very good run second off the break for this horse. Before that, in Class 2 conditions at Chelmsford, 1 mile April 11th, it was the Cardinal Stakes, kind of a local prep race for the Kentucky Derby, and he won by a neck there, and he stayed the trip well, quickened up nicely. It was a very good run. They had the choice to go to the Derby with this horse, but they chose to stay in England and run against these horses. Good for them. And then before that, Newmarket 7 furlongs in the Group 3 Tattersall Stakes. He finished second by length behind Arctic Sounds, and he just couldn't get into it. It wasn't the day to win. And then he ran the Champagne, where he finished fifth by 6 1/4 lengths. He kind of weakened out of it behind the few strides before the race ended. It just wasn't his day to win. But I think he's coming to this race a lot better here than he's coming into the races that he ran as a 2-year-old. He's looked like he improved since he's become a 3-year-old, and I think he's sitting on a good race. So 5-2, I'll take him. I think the 4 horse, This Is Us, could also run a big race. Tom Marquand's on this one for Richard Hannon. His most recent outings coming out of that Windsor listed stakes back in early May, that Bye Bye Hong Kong won. He finished second behind him. He just couldn't get that good turn of foot, but I thought he still ran decently. Before then, the Group 2 Bet 365 mile against some very tough horses. He finished 6 by 6 3/4 lengths, and he just never was comfortable there. It wasn't the day to win. And then he won at Linkfield very nicely in a 1 mile conditions race on all the championship day. It won nicely, but he was facing lesser quality horses. He has a good poster here today. He's proven he can run on turf. If he could get a good trip, I think at 7-2 he could also get a piece fit. I like him second best in this group. But to recount my selection for the third, the 310 from Epsom, it's Group 3 Diomed. I'll use the 7 horse Bye Bye Hong Kong as the top selection. I'll go 7-4-5 in the trifecta. Let's get to the quick fourth race, the 345 from Epsom. The 345, the fourth race from Epsom. It's the kind of race, don't sneeze because you might miss this. It is the Investec Handicap. It's Class 2 handicap going for a purse of $128,000, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 20 horses are going down, the fastest 5 in the world. The distance of ground of 1,000 meters or 5 furlongs on the turf course. The course record is 53 and change, 53.009. So it's very fast here. During the trial day in April of 2003, so it's been a while since the course record has been broken or lowered. But will they break it today with the quick round? We'll have to wait and see. But this race always comes up very tough. I'll give you 2 horses I think can win, and I'll put them both into an exact box, and depending on their prices, I might do an each way on both of them. But the 3 horses I would use here would be the 3 horse Muthmir, and I would also use the 5 horse Ornate, so 3-5 for me here in the Epsom Dash. But the first horse I'll talk about is the 3 horse Muthmir. 9-year-old gelding by Invisible Spirit. Jim Crowley gets the leg up for William Haggis. The horse's most recent appearance came 17th of November at Linkfield, 6 furlongs in listed stakes, and he finished 11th by 3 1/4 lengths that day, and he just never was into it. Never quickened up. It just wasn't his day to win. That was after a very tough campaign in the fall for this horse. Before that, he ran an Ascot, 5 furlongs in listed stakes, and he finished 10th by 15 lengths. And again, on the drive, and he just couldn't get into it. Soft ground probably got to him that day. And then he ran a long shot on the 16th of September, 5 furlongs in the Group 3 Petite Corvette Stakes. He finished third by 1.5 lengths, and I thought he stayed the trip well. He had a good turn of foot. He got down the straightaway at Longchamp well, and then he ran a Goodwood 5 furlongs in the Group 2 King George Stakes, where he finished third by 4.5 lengths. Batosh just ran a hell of a race. Even the horse finished second. Take Cover ran a good race. This horse, he had that little bit of turn of foot, but it wasn't anything substantial. And then at York, 5 furlongs in the listed stakes, finished third by 1 3/4 lengths. And again, it was an all-out finish. He just couldn't get the head in front. But I think coming here, first off the break, good proper handicap for him to run against. I think he can run a big race. So 12-1, I'll use him along with the 5 horse Ornate, the 6-year-old going by Bahamian Bounty against Dennis in the saddle. The horse's most recent outing came on the 15th of May at York. 6 furlongs in the Group 2 Duke of York Logistics Stakes, and the horse finished 9th by 7 3/4 lengths. Invisible Harmony just ran a major race. This horse weakened out of it and ran crap. What can you do there? It just wasn't his day to win. Before that, at Newmarket, 5 furlongs in the Pals Hound Stakes, I thought he ran a decent first place, finished by 3 lengths. He stayed the trip well, got around the race, down the raceway well, a good run, and then a new mark of 5 furlongs in Class 3 handicap during the Craven meeting. He won by head. He was the heavyweight, but he took off well at the end. A very good run. He looks like he has some speed into him. He has a good weight here of 125 pounds. He's a good post draw. I think at 12-1, he's also a live horse that I think could be peaking at the right time, so I'll take him. So to recap my selection for the fourth, the 345 from Epsom, it's the Investec Handicap. I'll use the 3-horse Muthmir, and I also used a 5-horse Ornate. So I'll go 3, 5 in a forecast box or an exacta box, and like I said, depending on the price, I might do it each way on both of them also. So now let's get to the big 5th race, the 430 from Epsom. The featured 5th race from Epsom, the 430, it's the Group 1 Investec Derby, the English Derby here. It's a Group 1 race for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of just over $2 million. This race is for 3-year-olds here. We have 13 horses, the Baker's Dozen going, the distance of ground of 2,400 meters, or 1.5 miles on the turf course. This is a very wide open race, I think, this year, and I think you could go a few ways. I'm going to give you the top 4 horses, I think, in my eyes here, and I'm also going to talk about the other horses here, but as a top selection, I'm going to take the 4-horse Circus Maximus. I'm going to go 4913. That's my top 4 basically, and those are the main 4 horses I'll be using on tickets. But 4913, might play some exacta boxes or forecast boxes and TriCast here, but the top selection would be the 4-horse Circus Maximus, the Rio Colt by Galileo, Kumar owned. Aidan O'Brien trains. Frankie Dettori looking for another Derby victory, gets on this one. The horse in his most recent outing, the 9th of May Chester in a listed stakes on good to soft ground, a mile and a quarter that day. The horse won by 1.5 lengths, and he just went with it, quickened up nicely. It was a very good race, first start as a 2-year-old. I think as the distances get longer, this horse should do better, and I also think on dry ground today, this horse should get better. Before that, this horse ran on the 27th of October at Doncaster, 1 mile in the Group 1 Charity Trophy, race post trophy, as it was formerly known, and he finished 4th by length. He didn't quicken up that day, but he didn't weaken out of it either. He stayed the trip well. That makes me think he probably kind of wants a longer trip because he's bred for it. And then before that, Newmarket 1 mile in the Group 3 Autumn Stakes. He finished 3rd by 3 3/4 lengths behind Persian King and Magna Grecia. Both of them are Guineas winners. Persian King won the French 2000, and Magna Grecia won the English 2000 in Newmarket a month ago. But this horse, he quickened up a little bit. He stayed the trip well, even though I don't think the mile trip is to his liking. And then at Gowan, 1 mile main race, he won by 2 lengths. And again, he quickened up nice on the front end. It was a very easy run. And then his first race at the Curragh, a good to soft yielding round, wasn't the best run for him, going 7/8 of a mile. He finished 5th by 2 3/4 lengths, drawn a little bit too wide, and he just had a little bit too, he had a little bit too much of a trip that day. But I like him coming here. He has a good poster from the 5 barrier. He has Frankie Dettori. He's an experienced Derby rider. He's coming to this race well, and like I said, he's bred to go the trip. At 15-1, I'll do a very nice each way wager on him. Another horse I'll definitely use here as a co-top selection would be the 9-horse Madam Moon. I'm gonna, he's 10-1 here. Is 3-0 Colt by Dawn Approach. We all remember from 2012 or 2013, I believe. I believe he was owned by Godolphin. One of those horses just make you scratch your head in the Derby. Why he was sent off his favorite, and then his trip was just even. It makes you scratch your head even more, but that's for another day. But Chris Hayes is on this one, coming from Ireland to ride this one. The horse's most recent outing came in 2000, getting to Newmarket a few weeks ago, going the mile trip, and he finished 4th by 4 1/4 lengths. And I thought he ran a decent effort. He stayed the trip well. He had a little bit of a turn of foot, but I think he's like another horse that's going to like the 1.5 mile journey today. And he also has a good poster on this race course. He should also like the good ground. And before that, he ran Leopardstown on soft ground, 6th of April, 7 furlongs and listed stakes, and he finished 2nd by half length. The winner, Never No More, just jumped up quickly at the end. But this horse, again, I thought he ran well off the break on ground he probably didn't like. And then on firm ground at Leopardstown, 1 mile in the Group 2 Juvenile Stakes, he won by 2.5. And again, he stayed the trip well. It was a very good run. He's going to like the trip. He has a good postra, and I think at 10-1, he's another horse that get a piece of it. I'm also using Anthony Van Dyke, the 3-0 Colt by Galileo. Shamie Heffernan gets on this one for Aidan O'Brien. This horse's most recent outing came in the Derby trial at Lingfield a few weeks ago, where he won by 2 1/4, and the winner of the Oaks yesterday won the Oaks trial at Linkfield in a quicker time than this one did. But this horse, he stayed the trip well. He quickened up nicely. He did what he was supposed to do there. It was a very good run. Before that, though, he ran the British Cup Juvenile Turf at Churchill, going the mile trip on very heavy ground. He finished ninth by 6.5 lengths. He was drawn wide, and he just didn't have the best of trips that day. Keep in mind, Line of Duty, who won that day, is starting back here today. And then this horse ran the Dewhurst, where he finished third by 4 lengths. He couldn't get into it, but he's another horse. He should excel with a longer trip. He has a good poster from the 7-hole. He had a really good Turo campaign. His last race wasn't so bad. I think he's another horse at 6:20. He could get a decent trip, so I'll use him on the tickets. And the 3-horse Broom, 3 calls by Australia. Danica O'Brien's on this one for Aidan O'Brien and the Coolmore group. This horse is coming off some decent runs. Most recently at Leopardstown, a mile and a quarter in the Derby trial there, and the horse won by 2.5. And that day, again, he was just much the best, quickened up nicely, and he beat Sovereign, who had was a good horse there, who finished third. Before that, he ran it in the Ballysack Stakes at Leopardstown, going the mile and a quarter on soft ground. He won by 8. Again, he was much the best that day, even though he wasn't sent off as favorite at 5. He had the 2-second choice. Sovereign was sent off as favorite, and Sovereign just didn't stay the trip. And then this horse ran in the Prix Jean-Luc Lagardière, where he finished second by a nose behind Royal Marine, and again, he quickened up nicely. He ran a massive race. I thought that was one of the best races of the two-year-old campaign for this horse. If you look at his two-year-old races, he ran one subpar race in the A-Comb at York, but other than that, he was pretty perfect. He's coming this race really well. He has a good posture, and I think at 4-1, at a shorter price, he could also get a piece fit. So let's talk about the other horses I won't be using here. The 2-horse Bangkok. Yeah, I just think they're stepping up in loads of class here with him. He did win the Sandown Derby trial, but they're just stepping up a lot of class. He has a wide posture, and he's just not a use for me. The 5-horse Hiroshima, this horse they are setting their heights definitely too high. He ran crap in the Linkfield Derby trial. His only win came at Solo against some subpar horses, and he hasn't really shown a lot. I can't justify backing him. The 7-horse Japan, he's a weird horse. It wouldn't surprise me to see him get in the money, but he's run some subpar races this year, and then some last year's runs where he's won. Those weren't. He wasn't outstanding there, but he's just not a use for me. He also has to come from wide posture. The 8-horse Line of Duty, his run at York was terrible a few weeks ago. He never got into it. It was under the drive. Don't know if he wants to model half trip. Again, he has a good posture, but his better races have come on soft grounds. He's just not a horse I can really back here. Like I said, if it was a mile today or mile 2, I would back him. Just mile 4 is not to my liking. 30-1. Setting aside a little bit too high. Then the number 10 horse Norway with Jamie Spencer and Aidan O'Brien in the Coolmore group. He's another horse, wide posture. Hasn't shown a lot. He'll run good races, and then they'll throw these clunkers in. Just not a horse I would use. A horse I would definitely use if they send this horse to America for some dirt race, because there's some great dirt pedigree on him, but I'm just not going to use him here. The 11-horse Sir Dragonaut, 3-year-old colt by Camelot. Ryan Moore's on this one. He's done everything right this year, but he's just... he's been doing it against some lesser quality horses, and he's been doing it on very wet, demanding ground that some horses don't handle. He's getting dry ground today, and a lot tougher horses. I think he's a 5-2 favorite from a wide posture. I just can't take him. It kind of reminds me last year where they were backing the other Saxon Warrior, I believe it was last year, where they were backing him into the ground for the Derby, and he ran way out of it. I have a feeling they're doing the same thing with this horse today, and I think he can find a better price with some of the other O'Brien horses. Wide posture, stuff up in loads of class. I just can't justify backing him either. The 12-horse Sovereign, this is another horse. He's run out of all the O'Brien horses. I just think he's run the less quality of races. Has only won once. That came at Galway in September. He's a workhorse. He's starting the most out of the O'Brien horses, but he just hasn't had that really good run. He can't keep up with Group 3 horses. I don't think he can keep up with these Group 1 today's. He's just not a horse I would use. And the 13-horse Telecaster, he's 9-2 here. He's a good poster from the inside, I must say. Ocean Murphy's on this one for Hugh Morrison. What gets me is they weren't sure if they're going to run this horse. They had to, they had to supplement this horse in for the Derby. They originally took him out of the Derby at the end of March. They put him back in now, so there must have been a thought he's not a Derby horse. And originally they were thinking not to run him here. They're going to go wait for the Irish Derby, where he was nominated, but they've nominated back in. Just the sound of the trainer this week, the way he was saying, I don't know if he's 100% fit here. If he's 100% fit, he can win, but it's just, he's not a horse I can really go behind here. 9-2, not the best price in the world. I think he's like Sir Dragonaut, where they're going to all back him into the ground. I think you could find a better price in this race. But to recap my selections now for the 5th, the 4:30 from Epsom. It's the Group 1 Investec Derby, the Epsom Derby. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 4-horse Circus Maximus. I'm also going to use as a co-top selection 9-horse Madam Moon. I'm going to go 4-9-1-3. That's my top 3 basically. So 4-9-1-3. And I'm probably going to do an exacta box here, 4-9. Also, definitely going to do each ways on the 4 and the 9 here. But I'll probably do some tri-cast combinations also. But 4-9-1-3, that's the top 4 here in the Derby. So now let's get to race number 6, the 5:15. The 5:15, the 6th race from Epsom. It's the Investec Out of the Ordinary Handicap. It's a Class 2 handicap going for a purse $64,000. This race is for 4-year-olds and upwards. Horses rated 86 to 105. 11 horses are going 2,400 meters or a mile and a half on the turf course. My top selection here, I'm going to go with the 6-horse Genetics. I'm going to go 6-5-3 in the tri-cast trifecta. 6-5-3 tri-cast trifecta. Top selection, 6-horse Genetics. This 5-year-old getting by here. Ocean Murphy gets leg for Andrew Balding. The horse's most recent appearance first off the break came the 10th of May at Chester on very soft ground, monoquarter in a Class 2 handicap. The horse finished fifth by 14 lengths there, and he just never got into it. The smaller horses do a lot better at Chester, and it's not him. He just never got around the race course well, and he just likes a horse like like Epsom today. Here's second off the break, a longer trip. He should really get into it a lot better. Before that, he ran the 21st September at Newbury, yielding ground a mile and a half in a Class 2. He finished 5th by 3 lengths there. The winner, Communique, is a really good horse who won that day. This horse, he closed up well on ground he probably didn't like, but he still ran decently there. And then he ran at York 2 miles in a Class 2 handicap. He finished 14th by 41 lengths, weakened out of it. I just don't think he stayed the 2-mile trip. And then at Ascot, a mile and a half on good ground in Class 3 handicap. He won by a dozen that day, and he just took off Claire. A very good run. Andres Starkey rode the horse from Germany. That was when they had the Jack Championship at Ascot. And, he just rode a terrific race there. And then at Brighton on the 10th of July, mile and a half in a Class 4. He won by a neck there at 67 cents to the dollar. He was supposed to win, and he won. Not by a lot, but he still got the victory. And then he ran here at Epsom last July in a monoquarter Class 4, where he finished second by 2 1/4 lengths, and he got around the race course well, which is good. Didn't win, but he can handle the course here. You should like the mile and a half. Second off the break, good posture, off 15 to 1. I'll take my chance with him. The 5-horse Mazuri could also get a piece of it. This were played by Graven's Past, Philly taking on the boys. This horse has run some decent numbers as of recently. If her odds go up high enough, I might do a sneaky each way wager on her. But to recap my selection for the 6th, the 5:15 from Epsom, it's the Investec Out of the Ordinary handicap. Gonna go with the 6-horse Genetics. I'm gonna go 6-5-3 in the tri-cast trifecta. So now let's get to race number 7 from Race number 7, the 550 from Epsom. It's the Investec Asset and Management handicap. It's Class 2 handicap going for per $64,000. Races for 4-year-olds and upwards. Horses rated 86 to 105. 17 horses are going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the turf course. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 2-horse Stone of Destiny. I'm going to go 2-4-8 in the tri-cast trifecta. 2-4-8 tri-cast trifecta. Top selection, 2-horse Stone of Destiny. 4-year-old gelding by acclamation. Sylvester de Sousa gets leg up for Andrew Balding. The horse's most recent outing came the 19th of April at Lingfield, 6 furlongs in the all-weather sprinting championship, and he finished 10th by 19 lengths. He had a wide post draw, and he just couldn't keep up with them. They ran a very quick 6 that day, but he just couldn't keep up. Wasn't the day to win. There's much better races I thought have come on turf. Before that, he ran at Lingfield on the 23rd of March, 5 furlongs in a Class 2 handicap, and he finished 7th by 1 3/4 lengths. He had a high weight that day, and he just never got into it. Wasn't the day to win. First start back from Doha, maybe he needed the race. Before that, he ran at Doha in Qatar on the 23rd of February, 6 furlongs in the Group 3 the Deccan Sprint. I said it right. He finished second by 1 3/4 lengths, and again, he really got a good turn of foot. He just missed at the end, but he got around the right-handed course well. And then at Lingfield a few weeks earlier in a 6-furlong listed stakes, he finished third by 4.5 lengths behind Conchi. Again, he closed up well that day. If there's going to be a closer's opportunity, it could be him. 10 to 1, quick pace in front of him. Good post draw. I think he could, get a piece of it. So at 10 to 1, I'll take him. So to recap my selections for the 7th, the 550 from Epsom, it's the Investec Asset Management handicap. Let's go with the 2-horse Stone of Destiny. I'm gonna go 2-4-8 in the tri-cast trifecta. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and join me tomorrow for my Prelude Jockey Club preview video. Good luck, everybody.